Hello and welcome to a very sunny Imola racetrack in Italy for what promises to be a pretty special day, because Wheels is here to drive this. It's the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, which in essence is the fastest and most potent V10 production car Lamborghini has ever made. It's also, I'm sure most of you will remember, the car that caused all that controversy a few months ago by lapping the Nürburgring in 6 minutes and 52 seconds. But we won't get into that here. I'm going to keep that can of worms screwed firmly shut. But what I do want to do is, before we go out and drive this, I want to sort of walk around and show you some of the key technical changes, because this thing is so much more than a regular Huracan with the wick turned up. Admittedly, there is more power. The V10 now produces 470 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters, which is enough to rocket this thing from 0 to 100 in 2.9 seconds. But the headline here is something called Aerodynamica Lamborghini Attica, which is a snazzy Italian way of saying active aerodynamics. Okay, so the fun starts here at the car's nose, where there's this new forged carbon fibre front splitter. In the middle there's an electric motor which controls two flaps on either side, which either boosts downforce with the flaps closed or improves drag with them open. The really trick part of this car though is actually at the back, where there's a huge forged carbon rear wing. Okay, so the rear wing is actually hollow, and air can rush down the back of the car through these air boxes here, into the wing and out through some little vents along here. The clever part of this though is that the two air boxes on either side have an electric motor in them that can operate independently of one another. That's what Lamborghini calls Aero Vectoring. And the idea is that in a corner the car can read things like yaw rate, steering angle, and will shut off one of the motors to block air to one side of the wing to increase downforce on the inside wheel. And this effectively helps the car turn into a corner. So all in all, it's a pretty clever bit of kit. And there's also revised suspension that works with a new Pirelli tyre. The gearbox has been optimised as well for faster and better shifts. So I think it's time to go and drive it and see if this thing lives up to the hype. Despite all of the aerodynamic witchcraft in this car and the technology, the thing that dominates the experience is still that big mid-mounted V10. In this turbocharged age where we're spoilt with really fat mid-ranges, it's easy to forget just how special a big capacity naturally aspirated engine is. This car has the optional dynamic steering which quickens up the ratio, and it's super fast. It's almost Ferrari fast, but that's fine now because the Huracan has the front axle to go with it. It really wants to turn. It's really confidence inspiring. It telegraphs understeer and oversteer really nicely. It's a car that wants to work with you to go fast. And that's not something I was expecting to say when I climbed in this thing this morning. Despite its on-paper promise, this is a car that is so much more than the sum of its parts. And I'm so glad that cars like this still exist with huge, naturally aspirated V10s. And that's it. I'm going to sign off now by shutting up and letting you guys listen to this thing at full noise. Man, what an experience. Lamborghini's hardest, fastest, newest V10 car at Imola on a sunny day. Brilliant.